Captain Lee Hanna stared at the display screen in front of her. The bridge of the Persistence was small and cramped, but it was home. She had been flying through space for 3 months now, looking for new worlds and new life. Earth had sent her team to explore the far edges of known space. "Captain, I'm getting something strange," said Dr. Kim Tae from his station. He was the ship's doctor and science officer. His fingers moved quickly over the controls. "There's a signal coming from the next star system. It looks like a distress call." Hanna turned in her captain's chair. "What kind of signal?" "I don't know. It's not human. The patterns are different from anything we've seen before." Kim Tae looked worried. "But it's definitely asking for help." Engineer Park Gina looked up from her workstation. "Should we check it out, Captain? We're not supposed to make contact with aliens without approval from Earth." Commander Yu Day, the ship's weapons officer, shook his head. "Could be dangerous. We don't know who's out there." Hanna thought for a moment. The rules said they should report back to Earth first, but the signal was asking for help. If someone was dying, they might not have time to wait for Earth's answer. "Set course for the signal," she said. "If someone needs help, we help them. That's what humans do." The Persistence turned toward the unknown star system. It was a small ship with only 4 crew members. Earth had built it for exploration, not for fighting. But Hanna trusted her team. They had been through a lot together. 2 hours later, they reached the source of the signal. What they saw made them all stop and stare. A large alien ship floated in space. It was beautiful, with smooth curves and bright lights, but it was under attack. 3 smaller, darker ships were firing weapons at it. Explosions lit up the darkness. "Those look like military ships," said Yu Day. "The ones attacking." "The big ship isn't fighting back," noticed Park Gina. "Look at their weapons. They're not even trying to shoot." Kim Tae was scanning the ships with their sensors. "The big ship has life signs, lots of them. The attacking ships, I think they're trying to destroy everyone on board." Hanna watched the battle. The beautiful ship was losing. Its lights were going out one by one. Soon everyone inside would be dead. "Captain," said Yu Day quietly, "we can't fight 3 military ships. They'll destroy us in seconds." He was right. The Persistence had only basic weapons. It was meant for exploration, not war. But Hanna looked at the dying ship and made her choice. "All power to engines," she ordered. "Gina, can you make our weapons stronger?" "I can try," Park Gina said, her hands flying over the controls. "But it won't be much." "Tae, send a message to the attacking ships. Tell them to stop." Kim Tae sent the message. The response came back quickly. It was not friendly. "They're telling us to leave or they'll kill us too," he said. Hanna smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Tell them humans don't run away from bullies." The Persistence shot forward, heading straight for the 3 enemy ships. They were much bigger and stronger, but Hanna had a plan. "Gina, wait until we're close, then shut down all our systems except life support. Make us look dead." "That's crazy," said Yu Day. "If they scan us while we're powerless—" "They won't expect it," Hanna said. "They think we're going to fight like a normal ship. But we're human. We don't fight like everyone else." The enemy ships turned to face the small human vessel. They fired their weapons, but the Persistence was fast and small. Hanna flew between their shots, getting closer and closer. "Now!" she yelled. Park Gina shut down the ship's power. The Persistence went dark and quiet, floating like a dead rock toward the enemy ships. "They think they killed us," whispered Kim Tae, watching his sensors. The enemy ships turned back to attack the alien vessel. That was their mistake. "Power up!" Hana shouted. The Persistence came back to life. All their weapons fired at once, hitting the closest enemy ship before it could react. The ship exploded in a ball of fire. The other two enemy ships spun around, angry and confused. But the Persistence was already moving, diving under their weapons and coming up behind them. "How are they doing this?" one of the enemy pilots asked, over the radio. Kim Tae had learned to understand their language from listening to their signals. "The human ship should be destroyed," said another voice. "Our weapons hit it directly." But the Persistence kept fighting. Hana flew the ship like it was part of her body. She had been flying since she was 16 years old. She knew every sound the engines made, every shake when the weapons fired. The second enemy ship tried to ram them. Hana waited until the last second, then spun the Persistence sideways. The enemy ship missed and crashed into an asteroid. The last enemy ship decided to run away. It fired one last shot as it turned to escape. The plasma bolt hit the Persistence directly in the bridge. The explosion threw Hana across the room. She hit the wall hard and fell to the floor. Blood ran down her face from a deep cut on her forehead. Her left arm hung at a strange angle. "Captain!" Kim Tae ran to help her. "I'm okay," she said, trying to stand up. But she wasn't okay. The pain in her arm was terrible, and her head felt like it was spinning. "The alien ship is sending us a message," said Park Gina. "They want to help us." The beautiful ship moved closer to the Persistence. A soft voice came over the radio, speaking perfect English. "Human vessel, this is the Keth Mori science ship Harmony. We owe you our lives. Please allow us to help you. Your captain is badly injured." Hana tried to object, but Kim Tae was already talking to the aliens. "We accept your help. Our medical supplies are basic. Can you treat plasma burns and broken bones?" "Yes," came the reply. "We are healers. It is what we do. We will bring you aboard our ship." As the aliens prepared to rescue them, Hana looked around her damaged bridge. They had won, but barely. Her ship was hurt, and so was she. But they had saved innocent lives. That's what mattered. "Good job, everyone," she said to her crew. "We did the right thing." None of them knew that this moment would change everything. The aliens they had saved were about to discover something about humans that would shock their entire civilization. They were about to learn that humans were different from every other species in the galaxy. They were about to learn that humans don't quit. The Keth Mori ship was like nothing the humans had ever seen. The walls glowed with soft light, and the air smelled like flowers. Everything was smooth and clean, made from materials that seemed to shine from within. Velthar, the Keth Mori healer, was tall and thin with pale blue skin. His large eyes were kind, and his hands moved gently as he helped Captain Lee Hana onto a medical bed. The bed was made of something that felt like warm liquid, but held her weight perfectly. "Please do not worry," Velthar said in his soft voice. "We will fix your injuries. Our medical technology is very advanced." Dr. Kim Tae stayed close to his captain. He watched everything the alien doctor did, trying to learn. The other crew members, Park Gina and Yu Dae, stood nearby. They had never seen aliens before, and they were amazed by everything around them. Velthar pressed his long fingers on a control panel. Strange devices came down from the ceiling. They looked like metal flowers with glowing centers. The lights moved over Hana's body, scanning every part of her. "This will not hurt," Velthar promised. "We are just looking inside your body to see the damage." The scanning took several minutes. Velthar watched the results on a screen that floated in the air. At first, he looked calm and professional. But as he studied the scan, his expression changed. His large eyes grew even wider. "This is unusual," he said quietly. "What's wrong?" Kim Tae asked. "Is she hurt worse than we thought?" Velthar turned to look at all four humans. "May I ask how old your captain is?" 34 years, Kim Tae answered. "And has she been injured before?" Kim Tae nodded. "Many times. She's been a pilot for 18 years. She's crashed, been in fights, broken bones." "Why?" Velthar was quiet for a moment. Then he touched more controls. The floating screen showed pictures of Hana's skeleton. Kim Tae gasped when he saw it. "Her bones," Velthar said slowly. "They have been broken many times. But look how they healed. They are not just repaired, they are stronger than normal bones, much stronger." The scan showed Hana's arms, legs, and ribs. In many places, the bones were thicker where they had been broken before. It looked like her skeleton was wearing armor made of her own bone. "This should not be possible," Velthar whispered. "When bones break, they become weaker, not stronger. But your captain's bones are 30% stronger than they should be." Park Gina stepped closer to look at the screen. "Humans heal that way. We get stronger when we're hurt." Velthar stared at her. "That cannot be true. No living thing gets stronger from injury. Injury means damage. Damage means weakness." "Not for humans," said Yude. "My grandfather used to say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We thought all life was like that." Velthar shook his head. "No. We Keth Mori have studied biology for thousands of years. We have met many species in the galaxy. All life tries to avoid injury. When injury happens, the body tries to return to its original state. But this," he pointed at the screen, "this is evolution happening in one lifetime." The healer called for help. Soon, 3 more Keth Mori came into the medical room. They were all scientists and doctors. They looked at Hana's scans and spoke quickly in their own language. "May we do more tests?" Velthar asked politely. "We promise not to hurt your captain, but we have never seen anything like this." Kim Tae looked at Hana. She was awake but tired. "What do you think, Captain?" "Let them look," Hana said. "They saved our lives, and maybe we can learn something too." The Keth Mori brought more machines. They scanned Hana's muscles, her blood, and even her brain. With each test, they became more excited and confused. "Look. At this," one of the alien doctors said, pointing to a new scan. "Her muscle tissue. It shows signs of thousands of tiny repairs. Each time the muscles were damaged, they rebuilt themselves stronger." "And her brain," said another. "See these neural pathways? They have been rerouted many times. Her brain has learned to work around damaged areas by making new connections." Velthar studied a scan of Hana's blood. "Her blood shows she has survived diseases that should have killed her. But instead of just surviving, her immune system learned from each disease. It is now stronger than any immune system we have ever seen." Kim Tae watched the aliens work. They were amazed by what they were finding, but they also looked scared. "You have to understand," Velthar said to the humans. "My people, the Keth Mori, evolved on a peaceful world. We learned to avoid all dangers. We made technology to keep us safe from disease, injury, and pain. We thought that was the only way to survive." "But you're very advanced," Park Gina said. "Your technology is incredible." "Yes, our technology is good," but our bodies are weak. If I broke my arm, it would take months to heal, and it would always be weak after that. If I got sick, I might die without our machines to help me." Velthar looked at Hana with something like fear and respect. "But your captain has survived things that would kill any Kethmori. And each time she survived, she became stronger. Her body learned from the damage." "That's just normal for humans," Uday said. "We're used to getting hurt. Earth is a dangerous place. Storms, earthquakes, diseases, predators. Humans who couldn't handle getting hurt didn't survive to have children?" The alien doctors looked at each other. They were thinking about something important. "We need to tell our leaders about this," one of them said. "Why?" Kim Tae asked. Velthar was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "We have been fighting a war for 60 years. The enemy is called the Zephyrians. They are brutal and violent. They attack anyone who seems weak. We have tried to make peace," another doctor added, "but they only understand strength, and we, Kethmori, are not strong in the way they understand." "We are losing the war," Velthar admitted. "Many of our people have died. We had almost given up hope." Hana tried to sit up on the medical bed. Her broken arm was in some kind of healing device that glowed with blue light. "What does this have to do with us?" "You fought 3 enemy ships with 1 small ship," Velthar said. "You were outgunned, but you didn't run away. You found a way to win, and when you were injured, you kept fighting." "Any human would have done the same thing," Hana said. "No," Velthar said firmly. "Any Kethmori would have run away or surrendered. Any other species we know would have done the same. But humans are different." The healer looked at the scans of Hana's body again. "We always thought strength meant avoiding damage. But you humans have found a different kind of strength. You let damage teach you. You become stronger because of pain, not in spite of it." Kim Tae was beginning to understand. "You want to learn how to be like us." "We want to learn how to survive like you," Velthar corrected. "Our people are dying because we cannot adapt to war. But maybe, if we understand how humans work, we can find a new way to live." Hana looked around at her crew, then back at the alien doctors. These were good people who were being hurt by bullies. They had saved the human crew when they didn't have to. Now maybe it was time for humans to help them. "What do you want to know?" she asked. Velthar smiled, the first time any of them had seen a Kethmori smile. "Everything. We want to know everything about how humans survive." 3 days later, the largest Kethmori ship Captain Lee Hana had ever seen arrived at their location. It was 10 times bigger than the science vessel, shaped like a giant flower made of metal and light. The ship's name was Dawn of Peace, and it carried the most important Kethmori in their fleet. Fleet Admiral Morthek was ancient, even for his long-lived people. His blue skin was pale with age, and his movements were slow and careful. But his eyes were sharp and intelligent. He had been fighting the Zephyrians for most of his very long life. "Captain Hana," he said as he entered the medical room where she was still recovering, "I have traveled far to meet you. My people tell me that humans are different." Hana was feeling much better. The Kethmori healing technology was amazing. Her broken arm was almost completely healed, and the cuts on her face were already gone. But she could tell that Velthar was still studying her, still amazed by how quickly she recovered. "We're just people," Hana said. "We do what we have to do." Admiral Morthek sat down carefully in a chair that formed itself from the floor. Velthar has shown me the scans of your body. He has also told me how you fought 3 Zephyrian ships and won. I find both things hard to believe. Dr. Kim Tae stepped forward. Admiral, if I may explain, humans evolved differently than your people. Our planet, Earth, was not a safe place. We had to learn to survive in a dangerous world. Tell me about this world, the Admiral said. Engineer Park Gina pulled up images on her portable computer. She showed pictures of Earth, volcanoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and wild animals. This is where we come from, she said. Humans who couldn't handle pain and danger died young. Only the strong and smart ones lived long enough to have children. After millions of years, all humans became strong. Commander Uday added, we also fought each other a lot. Wars, competitions, sports. We're always pushing ourselves to be better, stronger, faster. Admiral Morthek looked at the images with growing amazement. Your world tried to kill you every day? Pretty much, Hana said with a smile. And we liked it that way. Every challenge made us tougher. Velthar brought up the medical scans again. Admiral, look at this. Captain Hana's bones have been broken 12 times in her life, but each break made the bones stronger. Her muscles show she has pushed them to their limits thousands of times. Her brain shows she has learned to function even when injured or stressed. But why? The Admiral asked. Why not avoid injury like we do? Kim Tae thought for a moment. Because avoiding all danger makes you weak. If you never lift heavy things, your muscles get weak. If you never get sick, your immune system gets weak. If you never face problems, your mind gets weak. We have a saying on Earth, Park Gina said. Use it or lose it. Our bodies and minds stay strong only if we keep challenging them. Uday nodded. That's why human children play rough games. That's why we have sports where people get hurt. That's why we explore dangerous places. We need challenges to stay human. Admiral Morthek was quiet for a long time. Finally, he said, we Keth Mori have spent 10,000 years trying to make life safe and easy. We thought that was evolution. We thought we were becoming perfect. You did become perfect, Hana said, but perfect for a safe world. When the Zephyrians came, you weren't ready for their kind of war. Exactly, the Admiral said sadly. We know how to avoid fighting. We know how to run away. We know how to hide. But we don't know how to win against an enemy that enjoys violence. Velthar added, our soldiers are trained to minimize casualties. They retreat when they are injured. They surrender when the situation looks hopeless. We thought this was wise. It is wise, Hana said. But sometimes wisdom isn't enough. Sometimes you have to be stubborn. Stubborn? Admiral Morthek asked. Humans are very stubborn, Kim Tae explained. When someone tells us we can't do something, we want to prove them wrong. When someone hurts us, we get angry and fight back. When things look hopeless, we try harder. Park Gina laughed. My grandmother always said that humans are too stupid to know when to give up. She meant it as a compliment. Uday became serious. Admiral, I've studied your war with the Zephyrians. You have better technology and more ships. You should be winning. But you're not, because you fight like you're trying to avoid damage. They fight like they want to cause damage. What would humans do? The Admiral asked. Hana thought about it. We would get angry. We would decide that the Zephyrians needed to be stopped, no matter what it cost us. We would find a way to hurt them more than they hurt us. But we are not warriors, Velthar said. We are healers and scientists. We build things. We don't destroy them. Then you teach others to be warriors, Hana said. You find people who can learn to fight the way humans fight. Admiral Morthek leaned forward. Would you teach us? The four humans looked at each other. This was a big decision. They were explorers, not soldiers. But these people had saved their lives, and they were being bullied by an evil empire. What exactly are you asking? Kim Tae said. I want you to teach some of our young people to think like humans, the Admiral said. Not to be human, but to understand how humans approach problems, how they handle pain and stress, how they fight when they have to fight. Velthar added, We have studied your scans, Captain Hana. We cannot make Kethemori bodies as strong as human bodies. Our evolution was different, but maybe we can learn to use our minds the way humans do. It won't be easy, Hana warned. Human training is hard. We push people to their limits. We make them face their fears. We teach them that getting hurt is not the end of the world. Our medical council will not approve, another Kethemori doctor said. They believe any injury is a failure of medicine. Admiral Morthek stood up slowly. Then we will not tell the medical council. We will find volunteers, young Kethemori who are willing to try a new way. Are you sure about this? Park Gina asked. Once you start training people to think like humans, you can't go back. They will be different. They might not fit into your peaceful society anymore. The Admiral looked tired and sad. Our peaceful society is dying. In 5 years, maybe 10, the Zephyrians will have conquered all our worlds. Our people will be slaves or dead. We have to try something different. Velthar nodded. I volunteer to be the first. I want to understand how humans heal so quickly. Maybe I can learn to help my people become stronger. And I will find others, the Admiral said. Young soldiers who have seen their friends die. Young scientists who are tired of running from the enemy. They will want to learn. Hana looked at her crew again. They all nodded. This was the right thing to do. Okay, she said. We'll teach you. But you have to understand, this isn't just about fighting. This is about changing how you think about everything. Pain, fear, failure, survival. Are you ready for that? Admiral Morthek smiled. And it was not a peaceful smile. It was the smile of someone who had finally found hope after years of despair. Captain Hana, he said, we are ready to learn what it means to be stubborn. 2 weeks later, 20 young Kethemori stood in a training room aboard the Dawn of Peace. They looked nervous and excited. These were volunteers who had chosen to learn the human way of thinking. Most of them were soldiers who had lost friends in the war. Others were scientists who were tired of feeling helpless. Captain Lee Hana walked in front of them. Her arm was completely healed now, but she had asked Velthar not to remove the scars. She wanted the Kethemori trainees to see them. Look at my arm, she said, rolling up her sleeve. The trainees could see white lines where the bones had been broken. Each scar tells a story. This one is from when I crashed my first ship. This one is from a fight with pirates. This one is from training when I was young. One of the trainees, a young female named Lyra, raised her hand. Don't the scars make you weak? No, Hana said. They remind me that I survived. Every time I see them, I remember that I am tough enough to handle whatever comes next. Dr. Kim Tae stepped forward. The first thing you need to understand is that humans see injury differently than you do. When a Kethemori gets hurt, you think, I am damaged. When a human gets hurt, we think, I am learning. Velthar was taking notes on everything. He had become obsessed with understanding human psychology. But how do you learn from pain? Engineer Park Gina answered, Pain teaches you your limits. Then you figure out how to push past those limits. Every time you do something that hurts, you get a little stronger. We're going to start with something simple, Commander Uday said. He held up a metal bar. This weighs 50 pounds. I want each of you to hold it above your head for as long as you can. The first trainee, a young male named Keth, took the bar. He held it up for about 30 seconds before his arms started shaking. After 1 minute, he put it down. I cannot hold it anymore, he said, looking ashamed. Good, Hannah said. Now you know your limit. Tomorrow you will try to hold it for 1 minute and 10 seconds. But my arms hurt, Keth said. That's the point, Uday explained. The hurt means your muscles are working hard. When they heal, they will be stronger, but only if you push them to hurt first. Lyra looked confused. Our doctors say we should stop when something hurts. Pain means damage. Kimte shook his head. There are different kinds of pain. Bad pain means real damage. Broken bones, torn muscles, serious injury. Good pain means your body is working hard and getting stronger. Humans learn the difference when we are children. For the next hour, each trainee tried the exercise. Some held the bar longer than others, but all of them stopped when their arms started to hurt. This is the first lesson, Hannah said. Humans don't stop when things get uncomfortable. We stop when we absolutely have to stop. Then we rest, heal, and try again. The next exercise was mental. Park Gina brought out a puzzle box covered in flashing lights and strange symbols. This puzzle has no solution, she said. It is designed to be impossible. I want you to work on it for 1 hour and try to solve it anyway. But if it cannot be solved, why try? Asked another trainee named Vec. Because humans don't believe in impossible, Uday said. We believe that if something seems impossible, we just haven't figured out the right approach yet. The trainees worked on the impossible puzzle. After 20 minutes, most of them were frustrated. After 40 minutes, half of them had given up. This is stupid, Keth said, pushing the puzzle away. It's just making me angry. Good, Hannah said. Humans use anger as fuel. When something makes us mad, we work harder to beat it. Lyra was still working on the puzzle, even though her hands were shaking with frustration. I know it cannot be solved, but I want to try anyway. That's the human. Spirit, Kimte said proudly. That's what we call stubbornness. It's one of our best traits. Velthar had been watching everything carefully. I think I understand. Humans don't just accept their limitations. You always try to go beyond them. Exactly, Hannah said. Every human believes they can become better than they are right now. Not perfect, but better. The training continued for hours. The humans taught the Keth Mori how to push through discomfort, how to use failure as motivation, and how to keep trying when things seemed hopeless. But the most important lesson came at the end of the day. I want to show you something, Hannah said. She picked up a knife and made a small cut on her finger. The Keth Mori trainees gasped and stepped back. Captain, you're hurt, Lyra said. Hannah looked at the small cut. A drop of blood formed, then stopped. Yes, I'm hurt. Watch what happens next. She wrapped a bandage around her finger and continued talking. Right now, my body is already starting to heal this cut. In a few days, it will be completely gone. But more importantly, my immune system is learning from this small injury. The next time I get cut, my body will heal faster. Velthar was amazed. You hurt yourself on purpose to make yourself stronger? Humans do this all the time, Uday said. We get vaccinations, tiny amounts of disease, so our bodies learn to fight bigger diseases. We exercise until our muscles hurt so they become stronger. We practice difficult skills until we fail, so we learn to succeed. Kim Tae added, we even tell our children scary stories so they learn to handle fear. But why? Vec asked. Why not? Just avoid all these problems? Park Gina smiled. Because life is not safe. Bad things happen whether you prepare for them or not. Humans decided long ago that it's better to get ready for trouble than to be surprised by it. One of the trainees, an older Kethmori named Rel, spoke up. I lost my son in the war last year. He was a good soldier, but when he got injured, he panicked. He couldn't think clearly. He made mistakes. That's because he was never taught to function while hurt, Hana said gently. Human soldiers train while injured on purpose. They practice making decisions when they're in pain, when they're scared, when everything is going wrong. Could we learn to do that? Rel asked. That's what we're here to teach you, Hana said. But it won't be easy, and it will change you. Once you learn to think like a human, you can't go back to thinking like a Kethmori. Lyra looked determined. I want to change. I'm tired of being afraid all the time. I'm tired of running away. Keth nodded. My sister was killed by Zephyrians 2 months ago. I want to be strong enough to fight back. One by one, all 20 trainees said they wanted to continue. They wanted to learn the human way. Velthar looked at Hana with something like awe. You are teaching them to embrace pain instead of avoiding it, to use fear as motivation instead of letting it stop them. This is the opposite of everything we have ever believed. I know, Hana said. That's why it might work. The Zephyrians expect you to be afraid of pain and injury. They use that against you. But if you stop being afraid of getting hurt, they lose their biggest weapon. Admiral Morthek had been watching from the back of the room. Now he stepped forward. How long will this training take? He asked. Months, Kim Tae said. Maybe a year. Changing how someone thinks takes time. The Admiral nodded. We may not have a year. Our scouts report that the Zephyrians are gathering their fleet for a final attack. But we will do what we can. Hana looked at the young Kethmori trainees. They looked different already, more determined, less afraid. Then we better work fast, she said. Tomorrow we start teaching you how to fight like humans, how to take damage and keep going, how to use your enemy's strength against them. And how to never, ever give up, added Uday. The trainees stood, straighter. For the first time in their lives, they were learning what it meant to be stubborn. 6 months later, the Zephyrian fleet arrived at the edge of Kethmori space. Commander Quindal led 100 warships, the largest force his empire had ever assembled. He was confident this would be the final battle. Soon, all Kethmori worlds would belong to the Zephyrians. They will surrender as they always do, he told his officers. The weak cannot fight the strong. It is the law of nature. But something was different this time. The Kethmori fleet did not retreat when they saw the enemy ships. Instead, they moved forward to meet the attack. Captain Lee Hana stood on the bridge of the Persistence, which had been repaired and upgraded with Kethmori technology. Next to her was Lyra, one of the trainees who had learned the human way of fighting. Lyra was now a ship captain herself. Remember what we taught you, Hana said. Don't try to avoid damage. Use it. I understand, Captain, Lyra replied. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned with determination. We are ready. The First wave of Zephyrian ships attacked with overwhelming force. Their weapons were designed to cause fear as much as damage. They fired bright plasma bolts that lit up space like lightning. The old Keth Mori fleet would have scattered and run. But these ships had human-trained crews. When the enemy weapons hit them, they kept fighting. "Hull breach on Deck 7, reported one of Lyra's crew members. "Seal it and keep firing," Lyra ordered. "A little hole in the ship won't stop us." Commander Quindal watched in confusion as his first attack failed to break the enemy formation. What are they doing? Why don't they retreat? The Keth Mori ships fought differently now. Instead of trying to protect themselves, they focused on damaging the enemy. When their shields failed, they used their ship's armor as weapons, ramming into Zephyrian vessels. Velthar was on one of the medical ships treating wounded Keth Mori soldiers. But these soldiers were different from the ones he used to treat. When they were patched up, they demanded to go back to the fight. "My arm is broken," said Keth, one of the original trainees. "But I can still use my other arm to fire weapons. Send me back." Velthar had learned human medicine over the past months. He put Keth's arm in a quick healing cast and sent him back to his battle station. The old Velthar would never have done such a thing. Admiral Morthek commanded the Keth Mori, fleet from his flagship. He had been in many battles before, but this was the first time he felt like they could actually win. "All ships, advance," he ordered. "Show them that we don't run anymore." The Persistence flew through the battle like a small, angry wasp. Hana had taught the Keth Mori pilots how to use a damaged ship as a weapon. When her engines were hit and started making strange noises, she used the vibrations to confuse enemy sensors. "Captain," called Dr. Kim Tae from his station, "we've lost main power to the weapons." "Then we use backup power," Hana said calmly. "And if that fails, we ram them." Engineer Park Gina was working frantically to keep the ship running. Half the systems were damaged, but she had learned to make broken things work better than new things. "I've got an idea," she said. "What if we overload the damaged plasma conduits? The explosion might take out that big ship next to us." "Do it," Hana ordered without hesitation. Commander Yu Day targeted the enemy ship's weak points. His weapons were nearly destroyed, but he had rigged them to fire using power from the life support system. "This is going to hurt," he warned the crew. "Good," Hana said with a fierce smile. "Humans like it when things hurt. It means we're still alive." The overloaded conduits exploded with tremendous force. The Persistence was thrown sideways and several crew members were injured, but the explosion also tore a huge hole in the Zephyrian ship next to them. Commander Quindal could not believe what he was seeing. The small human ship should have been destroyed by its own explosion, but it was still fighting, still attacking his ships. "How are they still alive?" he demanded. "Sir," one of his officers reported, "their ship is falling apart, but they keep using the broken pieces as weapons. This is not normal behavior." The battle raged for hours. The Keth Mori fleet was taking heavy damage, but they refused to give up. Ships that should have surrendered kept firing until their last weapon was destroyed. Crews that should have evacuated stayed at their posts, even when their ships were full of smoke and fire. Lyra's ship lost its main hull when a Zephyrian torpedo exploded inside it. But the ship was designed with human stubbornness in mind. The crew sealed themselves into the remaining section and kept fighting. "We're down to 20% of our ship," her engineer reported. "Then we use that 20% to hurt them, as much as we can," Lyra said. She had learned well from her human teachers. Commander Quindal was becoming desperate. His fleet was supposed to be winning easily, but the Keth Mori were fighting like demons. No, worse than demons. They were fighting like they wanted to get hurt. All ships, concentrate fire on the human vessel, he ordered. Destroy it, and maybe the others will remember how to be afraid. 20 Zephyrian ships turned all their weapons on the Persistence. The little ship was hit by enough firepower to destroy a city. But Captain Hana had one more lesson to teach. All crew, prepare for emergency maneuvers, she announced calmly. Then she did something no sane pilot would do. She flew the Persistence directly into the middle of the enemy formation. "She's insane!" Quindal screamed. "Stop her!" But it was too late. The Persistence, burning and broken but still moving, crashed into the Zephyrian command ship. The collision destroyed both vessels in a spectacular explosion, but Hana and her crew had escaped in the last few seconds, using emergency pods that shot them toward the nearest Kethmori ship. The destruction of their command ship broke the Zephyrian fleet's spirit. These warriors had never faced an enemy that would destroy their own ship just to hurt the enemy more. It was beyond their understanding. "Retreat!" Quindal ordered from his escape pod. "These are not the same Kethmori we have fought before. They fight like madmen." But Lyra and the other human-trained captains would not let them escape so easily. They chased the fleeing Zephyrians, attacking them even as their own ships fell apart around them. "Let them go back to their empire," Lyra said over the radio. "Let them tell everyone what happens when you fight people who refuse to quit." Later, on the medical ship, Velthar was treating Captain Hana's new injuries. She had been hurt in the escape from her ship, but she was already planning the next battle. "The scans show you have 17 new injuries," Velthar said, amazed as always by human resilience. "But you're already healing faster than before." "That's because my body knows what to do now," Hana explained. "Every injury teaches it something new." Admiral Morthek came to visit her in the medical bay. He looked tired but happy. "The Zephyrians are retreating from 3 star systems," he reported. "Their own messages say they are afraid to fight us now. They call us the infected ones because they think humans gave us some kind of disease." "In a way, we did," Dr. Kim Tae said with a laugh. "We infected you with stubbornness." Lyra was there too, getting her own injuries treated. "Captain Hana, I want to ask you something. How do you know when to stop fighting? How do you know when you've done enough?" Hana thought for a moment. "That's the secret, Lyra. Humans never think we've done enough. There's always one more thing we can try, one more way to fight back, one more reason not to give up." "But that sounds exhausting," Velthar said. "It is," Engineer Park Gina admitted. "Being human is hard work, but it's better than being helpless." "Commander," Yude nodded. "Besides, we don't fight because we like violence. We fight because we love the things we're protecting." Admiral Morthek looked at all the humans and the Kethmori they had trained. "You have given us more than military tactics. You have given us a new way to think about ourselves." "What do you mean?" Hana asked. "For thousands of years, we believed that evolution meant becoming perfect and safe. But you showed us that evolution means becoming stronger through struggle, getting better by facing challenges," Velthar added. "And you showed us that scars are not shameful. They are proof that we survived something difficult." Lyra touched a new scar on her forehead. "I will never try to hide this. It reminds me that I fought for my people and won." 6 months later, the Zephyrian Empire signed a peace treaty with the Kethmori. They claimed it was because the war was too expensive. But everyone knew the real reason. They were afraid to fight an enemy that got stronger every time they were hurt. Captain Hana and her crew were preparing to leave and continue their exploration mission. But they had left something important behind. They had infected an entire civilization with the human idea that you don't have to stay down when life knocks you down. Will you come back? Lyra asked as she said goodbye. Maybe, Hannah said, but you don't need us anymore. You've learned the most important lesson. Which is? Hannah smiled and pointed to the scar on Lyra's forehead. That scars are just proof that you're tougher than whatever tried to hurt you. As the Persistence flew away into the stars, Velthar was already working on his greatest project. He was writing a book about human biology and psychology. He wanted every species in the galaxy to know what he had learned. The title of the book was simple: They Don't Know How to Quit, a Study of Human Resilience. And in the first chapter he wrote, I scanned her wounds and realized that humans don't see injury as damage.